My name's Olu and welcome to the Halcyonic Aura. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. We'd love to have you. So in this video, we're going to be talking about Saturn transiting through the first house. And I am going to be making astrology videos about different transits as I'm going through them because I don't think I've seen anyone do it, or if they have, then that's cool, but I haven't seen it. But I feel like it's a lot easier to talk to you guys about what I'm already experiencing. So I wanted to get into some things about Saturn going through the first house, because baby, this is not for the weak at all. So if you see me looking at my phone, I got some notes. So I'm going to be going through because I wanted to make sure I hit on all the topics that are currently affecting me right now. So Saturn transits each house for about 2.5 years. And I believe if Saturn goes retrograde during that transit, which I think it almost always does, then it could last up to 3 years. And that actually depends on the size of your house. And if you're using the Placidus system, you can end up with houses that are larger than normal. You can end up with houses that are smaller than normal. So that will affect the amount of time that Saturn will be transiting through the house that it's in your chart. My first house is huge. So Saturn has been transiting through my first house for, I think, since the beginning of this year, so January of 2023, and I'm in Aquarius rising, so Saturn started transiting from Aquarius and now it's in Pisces, and I have Pisces intercepted in my first house, so I will have Saturn in my first house until we get into Saturn in Aries. Yeah, I know. So the number one thing I have observed with this Saturn transit is that I'm starting to take myself a lot seriously, especially my physical health, because the first house rules your physical body, especially your head, your face, but really your physical body. So I've been a lot more consistent with going to the gym and making sure I'm exercising every single day and exercising regularly. I've been trying to do certain things to change the way I look so I can reach my ideal body type. So I have been hitting the gym, going to the abs and butt classes and trying to get the shape that I'm looking for, and just like get to know my body a lot more and also take responsibility for my body, because wherever Saturn is transiting is a place where Saturn wants you to take more responsibility for whatever the themes of that house and sign are. Saturn is also the planet of restrictions and delays. So with Saturn transiting my first house in the beginning, I did not really have friends, like a friendship group. I felt so isolated from my friends. I went through a lot of periods of time just being alone, just being on my own, spending a lot of time with myself, which turned out to be a good thing because I feel like once you know yourself, it's a lot easier to know what you're looking for in friends or just in people in general. So that was helpful. But when I was going through it, I felt so isolated and lonely, and those are like some themes that can come up with Saturn too. When it goes through your first house, you could feel isolated, you could feel lonely. Also, when Saturn's in the 12th house, you experience that as well. And I will be covering that in another video. I would also say that I became more serious as a person. And I'm already Saturn ruled because Saturn does rule over Aquarius as well. So I feel like I've been a serious person like since I was a kid. But with Saturn going through my first house, it has definitely made me be more of a serious, more responsible person. I feel like I'm growing into my maturity, and just trying to stick to what I say I'm gonna do and just taking myself more seriously, because the way you view yourself is how people are gonna treat you. So I want people to treat me well, so I'm treating myself well because I know that that is my responsibility. That is a theme that Saturn has brought to my life, which was a hard lesson at first, but definitely necessary. One thing I will say though that you have to watch out for is having depression when Saturn goes through the first house, because when Saturn is in the angular houses, so that would be the first house, 4th house, 7th house, or 10th house, the effects of Saturn are a lot stronger than they would be in other houses. So with the first house ruling your sense of self, it can restrict the way you feel about yourself, and that can lead to depression, especially if you're going through periods of time where you're all alone and isolated from people. And this is because to deal with depression, you actually need to go out and socialize with people and not be isolated. But when you find yourself being isolated during these times, it can be easy to slip into depression. So definitely be mindful of that. If you find yourself feeling really depressed, please reach out for help, you know, seek a counselor or a therapist, or even just reach out to your friends and family and just talk to people, because that really helped me. So to talk more about how Saturn has affected me in terms of the signs that it's been in, I know I touched upon Saturn in Aquarius causing restrictions when it came to my ability to make friends, even with my ability to use social media, because we know Aquarius rules over like technology, social media, friendship groups. I was not like, my Instagram was just there. My Instagram to this day is like, it's like a time capsule ending in like 2020 or 2021 or something. So I definitely felt that restriction. It wasn't until Saturn started to move away from my ascendant that I started to feel a lot more free about putting myself out there online and expressing myself, because that's an important thing to me as an Aquarius rising. I love being able to express myself and be with my friends and just be part of the community, part of the environment. So I'm happy that that restriction has lifted. But now that Saturn is in Pisces, I'm experiencing restrictions in the forms of like things that cause you to overindulge, or things that cause you to, maybe things that I could have had an addictive tendency with. So like I'm having restrictions when it comes to like overeating, like eating too many sweets, because I got a sweet tooth. But Saturn in Pisces is actually helping me curb that. And also I've become like completely sober. Like I used to go for a drink, a little drinky drink every now and again as a social drinker with my friends. And these days I'm just like, I don't want to drink. And also I am taking antidepressants to help with the depression that I spoke about. So I don't want anything to affect my medication. I'm trying to take myself seriously and take what I'm doing for my body seriously. You get what I'm saying? You see the theme here? Yeah. So Saturn in Pisces is actually really helpful as well, because it's making me take my creative and artistic talents more seriously as well. Just the fact that I'm branching out and making YouTube videos and also posting on TikTok. You can check the link in my bio for my TikTok if you're interested, because I do a lot of self-improvement type content and also like a little bit of lifestyle stuff on my TikTok. So check that out if you're interested. But definitely during this transit, I've been taking my creative pursuits a lot more seriously. And I really appreciate that. Like Saturn, I feel like people get scared of Saturn as a planet, but Saturn is the planet of karma and lessons, karmic lessons. So Saturn is just trying to teach you something. And sometimes you have to go through some terrible things for the sake of learning a lesson. And then once you've learned the lesson, Saturn is like, okay, and gives you the gift of access to what you were restricted from. So Saturn, if you learn how to work with Saturn, it'll be fine. And I say that as a Saturn ruled person with a lot of Saturn aspects in my chart. Yeah, Saturn has me in a chokehold. I am Saturn's child for sure. So yes. So that concludes my video on Saturn in the first house. If y'all have any questions about anything, please feel free to leave them down in the comments below. If you guys have any suggestions on other videos I should make, feel free to leave them in the comments. I'm so open to suggestions since I'm just getting started. And if you like this video and you made it to this point, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I will catch you in my next video. Okay, thanks. Bye.